Welcome everyone to Science 200 this term. I'll be your instructor, Dr. Janie Sigmon. I have made a video about me and an announcement about me as your instructor, so go back and look at those if you haven't done that, because this particular video is going to be all about week 1, and you can look for my videos every single week in the announcements. They will be uploaded by Monday at 12:01 a.m. So you can be looking for those to help you start the week. It's important to watch the videos because I talk about the science going on that particular week, but also I give you hints and tips and information about how to complete assignments. I also give you reminders about deadlines, and I talk about points, especially later on in the term when the points count for so much. I will be reminding you about things like that. All right, so let us get started in week 1. The first thing that you need to do is access your web text online. So a web text is a textbook that is online, and you do part of your work this term in this web text. It is produced by a company called Sumo. So you will see that when you sign up for it. Every week there is one chapter to do. So there are 8 chapters that you will complete by the time you get finished with this course. And of course there are 8 weeks in the term. So week 1, chapter 1, there are 4 sections. This is a tremendously important chapter. The first section tells you how the textbook works. And it explains to you things that you need to know, like when you answer a question, it is immediately graded and automatically put into Brightspace. I don't mess with those. I have plenty of other things to grade. I grade your discussion board postings, and I grade everything about your topic that you will write. The second section is all about how science works, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. The third section is about the different natural sciences. So this is an applied natural sciences course. So what the heck are the natural sciences? Is psychology in this? No, it is not. That's a social science. Is biology? Yes, it is. It's a natural science. So you will learn about those in the third section. And the fourth section is all about the particular topics that are suggested for you to cover in your project this term. So this is a term-long project that you are going to be working on. Make sure you go through this chapter 1 meticulously so that you understand how the term is going to work. All right, let's talk about the topics for just a second. These are suggested topics. So these are topics in the natural sciences that are in the news that people are talking about. Of course, there are other ones, but these are suggested ones. If you don't see one here in the list that you like, you may choose something else. However, I have to approve it. So don't just assume that because you thought it up, I'm going to approve it, because I may not. I may ask you to modify it, because some people get, they're very ambitious with some of the topics that they choose. There are also some others that I've thought of, like microplastics and the microplastic pollution problem that we have right now. Also light pollution. After just coming back from a week at the beach, I can tell you that without lights, you can see many more stars in the sky at night if you don't have a bunch of light shining everywhere like we do in our neighborhoods and around cities where we live. So light pollution is another one, but I have lots of other ideas if you can't come up with one that you like. So let's talk about each of these for just a second. Genetically modified organisms. These are organisms that have had their genes changed in some way. These are absolutely slight changes. These are not Franken foods like some people make them out to be, because that would make no sense. The biotech companies want to change the genes as little as possible. That's less research that they have to do, and they only want to change the genes in organisms that will benefit the growing and production of these organisms as food. So they might have genes put in them that make them resist herbicides, and that makes them easier to grow. That they may put a different nutrient gene in there to have this particular rice plant produce vitamin A. So it depends on the GMO. There's lots of controversy about them because people think that they aren't safe to consume. So that might be the focus of your topic, electric cars. Everybody's talking about electric cars. My brother-in-law now has had 4 Teslas. He keeps buying them and selling them, buying them and selling them. That's been very interesting and eye-opening. I didn't know that you had to charge them up so very frequently. Like he can't go on a 2-hour trip from Columbia, South Carolina to Charleston, South Carolina, because he has to stop partway and charge up his Tesla. So to me, that's the problem if you're going to travel any distance whatsoever. Traveling around town makes a lot of sense. Commercial nuclear energy, this is a much cleaner form of energy than burning coal, that sort of thing. So that's a good topic. Genetic engineering, and this mainly focuses on genetic engineering in human beings. All right, one thing you need to know, we do not do this in human embryos. No scientist around the world works on this, changing genes in human embryos, except for one Chinese scientist. And he did this with 2 female human embryos. And then he published the work, and then the poop hit the fan, because this is just not allowed in the scientific community. This is unethical. And he is Chinese, and the Chinese government actually imprisoned him for 3 years because he did this research. And now he's not working on that, I will tell you that. So far, from what I understand, the 2 girls are doing very well because they were carried to term and were born. So that's been kind of interesting, but no one else around the world does this. It is in the theoretical stage right now. Of course, we use animal models, though, to work on genetic engineering. Ocean acidification. The pH of the ocean is going lower and lower and lower. It's definitely changing, and that's because of excessive carbon dioxide in the atmosphere created by the burning of fossil fuels, and that CO2 dissolves in the ocean water, and that is reducing the pH, which is causing harmful effects in marine life. Biodiversity conservation is important for ecosystems to be biodiverse. You need to have lots of different species present in order for an ecosystem to be healthy. Lots of different species, lots of numbers of those different species. So that's a great one too. Biodiversity conservation is important because we destroy habitats literally every day with our construction and human habitations. So that's a good topic too. All right, let's see what else we've got going on. A little bit of the science. Now, my background, if you listen to my video or read my bio, I'm a biologist, but then when I went to graduate school in microbiology. So, of course, I love microbiology. And here is a picture from a journal published in 1929 by Alexander Fleming, who was what? A microbiologist. And he stumbled upon this phenomenon. So he was cleaning out petri dishes after he'd been on vacation. And he came across this plate, and what he noticed was there was a fungus, a mold, growing on the surface of the agar, and there were no bacterial colonies around this mold. And he said, that's interesting, because normally the bacteria just grow all over the surface of the agar. He said, that mold must be secreting some kind of chemical that's inhibiting the growth of bacteria. That could come in handy. We could We could use that if we could figure out what this chemical is. Well, the mold that was growing on the petri dish was called Penicillium notatum, and the chemical that he isolated he called penicillin because of the name of the mold. And we all know that penicillin is an antibiotic that is still in use today, not very often because so many species of bacteria are resistant to it now. But we started using antibiotics full force in the 1950s. How many of you have taken an antibiotic before? Now, this is interesting. In the beginning of the 1900s, there were no antibiotics. So what happened if you got a bacterial infection? Well, one or two things. You either died from the infection or you got better. That's the way that it worked. Your immune system took over and you got better, or you didn't survive it. Now we have antibiotics, and we have lots of them, though drug resistance is becoming more and more of a problem. So with this study in your Sumo web text about Alexander Fleming and the discovery of penicillin, and then moving the production of penicillin from the lab out into industry where it could be mass produced, is a very interesting study about science. Now, Alexander Fleming was really interested in this phenomenon and the fact that that mold was producing penicillin. But he wasn't too much interested in growing vats and vats of mold to isolate tons and tons of penicillin in order for this to be shipped out to provide to people. But he was interested in the science part of this. So that's a real interesting study to read about. Alexander Fleming and penicillin. All right, also this week you will be making discussion board postings. You will not make discussion board postings every week. You will in weeks 1, 3, 6, and 8. But this week you have discussion board postings due. Your initial post, the one that you write to answer the questions that are posed, is due by Thursday night before midnight. You're going to introduce yourself. So tell us what you like to be called. Where are you from? Where do you live? What's your major? Anything, hobbies that you have, your family, your pets, anything about you is awesome. And then what do you hope to learn from this course? Because you're taking a science class and you're most likely not a science major. Just saying. And then you're going to answer these questions. Which field of natural science interests you and why? Do not say astronomy. Wait a minute, sorry. I'm confused myself. Astrology, like Aquarius, Aries, Virgo, Taurus. Yeah, okay. That's not a science. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, astrology. Astronomy, the study of stars and heavenly bodies, is a natural science. And then you got biology and chemistry and physics and geology and environmental science. There are lots of different fields in the natural sciences. Which one interests you? And does this particular field relate to your research topic? And that means you should have already chosen your research topic out of the ones listed, or you've asked me if it's okay to choose something else. Whenever you think that you might want some other topic, please just email me. I'm always checking my email. All right, then you need to respond to 2 of your classmates in response posts, and these are due by Sunday night before midnight. So include what you have in common with them. Sometimes it might be your major, sometimes it might be where you live. You're interested in a particular field in the natural sciences. And then talk about whether you agree or disagree with them about their interest, about the field that they have chosen, about the research topic, any of that, okay? And it's important to be substantive. Hi, I really liked your post I like astronomy too. Okay, that's not substantive. It's got to have some body to it. It's got to have detail. It's got to have information. All right, that's substantive. And then finally, some hints about how to work through these weeks. Watch my videos in the announcements. You may think, oh man, that's another 15 minutes that I have to do work for this course. Yeah, but I'm explaining some of the science to you. I'm giving you tips and hints and tricks to use while you do your work. And so that's going to cut off some of your time. So please do read through the announcements and watch my videos. You know, you can always fast forward, or if you need to hear something over again, you can go back. I post these on YouTube, so they are there also if you need to find them. Deadlines are very important. Remember, Thursdays and Sundays. Anytime you have a week when you have discussion board postings due, they're due by Thursday night. Everything else is due by Sunday night before midnight. Follow the guidelines in the rubric for each assignment. So what are those? Guidelines are the directions, okay? They're the directions that tell you what you need to do. The rubric is how this assignment is going to be graded, and it's basically a grade sheet, and that's exactly what I see when I go in and grade something. I see the rubric, and so do you. You can see the rubric. So it's not a guessing game about what I'm looking for. Follow those for each assignment. Read the feedback that I give, especially on your project for the term, because this project builds over time. You do a piece at a time as we go, and you have the ability to revise your work and make it better and make it perfect by the time you get to week 6. Read the feedback that I give and act accordingly. Label everything, every paper. This is Science 200. I can't remember how they named the term now because all that terminology is new. Dr. Janie Sigmon, your name, the date, label, everything. Which assignment it is. Yeah, that makes sense. This also goes for your file names. Do you know how many times students have uploaded the wrong file? Yeah, sometimes even from totally different courses. Like, I have no earthly idea why you just uploaded a business paper into my science class. So label everything, even for yourself. And also, when in doubt, when in trouble, when you don't understand something, when you have totally no idea how to move forward, please just ask me. I'm here to help you through the term, to guide you through this work, and to help you. That's why I love teaching, because I'm here to help you. m.sigmon@snhu.edu. Just email me. That's all you have to do. If you want to do an online face-to-face meeting, I can do that. There are lots of ways that we can communicate even besides email. So just let me know what you need, okay? With that being said, I hope that you have a wonderful first week. Let me know if you need anything.